Repsum, this disease. So Repsum disease, you already know. Repsum disease is nothing but RAN, retinopathy, ataxia, and neuropathy. And then RAN, and you add one P, P for protein, P for protein. So RAN means triad. Just remember this triad. One more thing, add one more thing. At least remember this triad. Triad is very important. So peripheral neuropathy, retinitis. Which type of retinitis? Retinitis pigmentosa. And then cerebral ataxia. Ataxia is cerebral ataxia. So this cerebellar, not cerebral, cerebellar. Cerebellum is present here behind your cerebrum. So cerebellar ataxia, this type of presentation. And this peripheral neuropathy is a very unique type of peripheral neuropathy. If you take the biopsy of the peripheral neuron and then see the biopsy, then the biopsy will be hypertrophic demyelinating. There are few disorders where you see hypertrophic demyelinating. This is one of the pathognomonic of Repsum disease. There is one disorder, one disorder. There you will see hypertrophic. So this is a very important finding. Hypertrophic demyelinating. Sensory motor. So sensory sensation will also be gone, and motor system, flexing your hand, wrist will be dropped. You can see here, you can see wrist drop, leg drop. So that will happen because of loss of tonicity in your muscle. So motor is also lost. Sensory neuron has also problem. Perisensory motor neuropathy. Hearing loss can be there. Anosmia can be there. So these all are related to peripheral severe. That means severe peripheral neuropathy. Severe peripheral neuropathy. This is a very important finding of peripheral neuropathy. Then retinitis pigmentosa because of loss of rod cells and cold cells. And cerebral ataxia because of demyelination. These are the presentation. Elevated CSF protein, blood-brain barrier. Blood-brain barrier will have problem because it is also lipid. So blood-brain barrier will not be there. So protein from blood will enter into CSF. So therefore, this cerebrospinal fluid will have very high amount of protein. So these are tetrad, and this triad is more important, and put one protein to tetrad. And because of demyelination to every nerve, and even to your heart conductive system. Heart has its own conductive system. Demyelination also happens here. Because of that, cardiac arrhythmia can happen. This is heart will be diseased. This is called cardiomyopathy. In later life, the skin will be scaly like fish. So this is called ichthyosis, dry scaly skin. So what is the pathogenesis? Pathogenesis, it is autosomal recessive disorder, mutated enzyme, mutated gene which produce this enzyme. Phytonyl coenzyme A alpha hydroxylase is mutated. Because of that, what will happen? Phytonic acid is not metabolized, and this phytonic acid will be accumulated in central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, autonomic nervous system, plasma membrane, and because of that, all will happen because it will deposit in plasma membrane of this rod cell. So rod cell will die. Then other cells also. That is why this will lead to a massive problem, slowly but massive problem. But good news is that this disease, once diagnosed, it can be treated by prevention, by eliminating those diet. And it is not difficult to treat. It is the most crucial thing is to diagnosis in such condition. So how do you diagnose? These are the diagnostic parameters. You see, CSF will have very high protein, one thing. And then this phytonic acid is very high in blood. So if phytonic acid is very high, CSF blood, actually CSF protein is very high and present. These are the presentation. You can test this. And final testing, final actually diagnosis, always confirmatory diagnosis is done through genetic testing. So this is phytonic acid. This enzyme, what this enzyme does, this enzyme is responsible for alpha oxidation. If you see this molecule carefully, this is branch and phytonyl coenzyme A. So this is alpha carbon, this is beta carbon. So beta carbon has one branching. So the beta oxidation is difficult, but alpha, that is why alpha oxidation happens here. So here will be addition of hydroxyl group first by this enzyme. This enzyme only does this. Hydroxyl group. After addition of hydroxyl group, second enzyme comes that will break this bond. That will break this bond and will remove this. So this is formoyl coenzyme A, formyl coenzyme A. You can see H only one carbon. This is called formyl coenzyme A. Okay. Now, after removal of this to here, you can see the oxidation of this phytonic acid will occur similar to beta oxidation. Okay, similar to beta oxidation that you see, but this beta oxidation occurs in peroxisome. So you can see how does it peroxisomal beta oxidation happens. So this bond is gone again, beta oxidation, alpha beta. So this bond is double bond formation. This will be CO group again. This will be this CO group formation, and then there will be formation of coenzyme A addition. Again, this bond will gone, coenzyme A. This bond is gone, beta bond. So beta, peroxisomal beta oxidation, peroxisomal beta oxidation, peroxisomal beta oxidation. In that process, you can see 3-acetyl, 1, 2, 3, 3-acetyl coenzyme A, 1, 2, 3, 3-propionyl coenzyme. I told you the phytonic acid is also source of propionyl coenzyme, and propionyl coenzyme converts ultimately into succinyl coenzyme. Remember, and this will convert into glucose, or if it fed condition, it will convert into energy. Okay, so remember, it depends on condition, because lysosome, these peroxisomal oxidations are not under control of fed and fasting condition. It is under control of supply. How much phytonic acid is supplied in your body? More is the phytonic acid, more will be the oxidation, more will be the oxidation of phytonic acid. It is not under hormonal control. Remember that. Okay, so this is the product. Now last you can see 4 carbon. So this is what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Only one carboxylic acid. So this is called isobutyl coenzyme A. And this was pristanyl coenzyme A. So this is pristanyl coenzyme A. So this phytonyl converts into pristanyl. So you know this is also elevated in Zellweger spectrum disorder. And in this condition, only phytonic acid is elevated. This is not elevated because this enzyme converts this into this. So what is treatment? Remove herbivorous meat and the milk that you get from this herbivorous animal. Okay, because this green leafy vegetables, actually also you have green leafy vegetables also have to be eliminated, which has very high amount of phytol. So green leafy vegetables and ruminant this meat, because ruminant eat grass. Grass has chlorophyll. Chlorophyll will convert into phytonic acid. Okay, so this is the source of phytonic acid. If you eliminate this source of phytonic acid, disease is fairly treatable. Just see, look at the manifestation here now. So you can see easily, you can see the manifestation. These are the manifestation of this disorder. So this is retinopathy, retinitis pigmentosa. Okay, this is retinopathy, a type of retinopathy. Retinitis, it is called retinitis pigmentosa. It is because of damage to rod cells and cone cells, pigmented retina. So this is called retinitis pigmentosa. You can see this is normal myelin. You can see hypertrophic myelin there on biopsy. Hypertrophic myelin, hypertrophic neuropathy is there. So this hypertrophic neuropathy. And a very classical feature, you can see small short, this fourth toe is also seen in here. Ichthyosis, you can see scaling. So RAN, I told you. Ataxia, I cannot show here. Ataxia, you know what is ataxia, you will know from. So retinopathy, this is retinopathy. Ataxia, I cannot show. So neuropathy, this is neuropathy. And then a scaly skin is there in later in life. So fish like a scaly skin. This is called ichthyosis. Fourth toe. These are the presentation of this Epsom disease. Okay, Epsom disease.